on the right side of the screen here, I have tried this video a couple of times and I end up wandering off. My brain is not completely awake right now. Loaded into this afternoon to play my account, get some progress done a little bit here and there on my characters. I have two, the Hunter, the Titan. And I get this splash screen, this splash card on the title screen, uh, basically letting me know that a player that was reported some time ago has had action taken against them. Now, to be honest, yes, I do report. And what do I report? I report for cheaters and I report for griefers. I don't report for people who are AFK because we all get called away from the game at times. That's sometimes the most, excuse me, inopportune times. I don't fault someone for that. I get salty about it, because I'm like, hey, dude, if you know you're not going to have a solid schedule, then maybe you should try playing something a little bit more lightweight. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, it is still just it's everyone's game, and if I didn't want people going AFK, then I should field the fire team and play with those guys. But I like playing freelance survival. It's a lot of fun. I wish there was more freelance in the game, where you could play against, freelance control and freelance mayhem, freelance brawl. Well, obviously Rumble's freelance. But you get my drift, right? Because we have freelance survival, and I think we have freelance Iron Banner now, which is fantastically fun. Um, but I also would like to have firewalled games where you have the opportunity to go in with just you and a buddy, and and play 2v6 in control, and not have to worry about and see just how well you can perform against those higher stakes. Um, and I think that would be kind of fun. It's kind of an experimental mode. But yeah, one of the things I've never really enjoyed about PvP is the fact that it's peer-to-peer, which is great in the strike playlist and the raids and stuff like that. That's okay. But when you're playing competitive, when you're playing glory mode, Iron Banner, or you're playing trials or survival in general, just to get stuff done, you really should have a dedicated server for it. I really would prefer that, or at least allow us some geo filtering, saying that I only play with people in North America, or I only play with people on the West Coast North America, if you can get that more specific, because then it ensures that the connection is going to be more solid. Now, they took away skill-based matchmaking, and I believe that's because they were going to do connection-based matchmaking. However, wow, we just one-phased him? I guess nobody cares about getting a little bit more than that, huh? Heroics actually drop you better stuff, but whatever. It's there. It did it. I got my precision shots that I'm trying to do. But anyway, where was my brain at? See, I did it again. Oh yeah. So connection-based matchmaking. But if you're playing with a VPN, which allows you to say that you could be in, like, say, for instance, Australia, but you want to play with North American players. So use a virtual personal network to basically convince Bungie servers that you're playing in North America. So when they go out there to do their peer-to-peer connection, they pick you up as a North American player. When in fact you're not a North American player, you're actually transmitting through several different satellites and transatlantic cables or whatever, and we all know that connection is not going to be stellar unless you've got, like, military grade hardware supporting you. But yeah, so having some more accurate geo filtering, having more dedicated servers, somewhere where administrators can actually see what's going on. That's the thing. Excuse me. Reporting is fine and all that stuff, but in the long run, players shouldn't have to report each other. Except for the things like griefing, because that's not something that can show up on on software, except for maybe if, like, you take a look at the person and see how often they were well, I don't know. I'm sure there's probably ways to do it, but I'm not that kind of big brain engineer kind of person. But yeah, so cheating. What do I count as cheating? Well, it's obvious. The obvious stuff. I'm not looking for, like, I don't report people for pre-shooting. That's kind of exploiting, but that's not. I don't go for exploiting. Um, I don't report for exploiting. That's just not worth it. But hold on a second. I'm kind of farting around here, waiting for the next wave to spawn up. There we go. So, yeah. So the cheating that I report is like, they're running around with a toughness of 2, resilience of 2, and I put a grenade launcher in their face, like, boom, like that, and they don't even flinch. They just shrug it off like it's no big deal. Uh, that I'll report. That's either network manipulation or it's a straight up hack. Um, and the other thing I'll do is, like, say for instance, uh, there's a guy who's like standing right there, okay, and I go this way, but he's still able to shoot me, and there's no gap there, right? I'm running, I'm running across, I strafe him, blah 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 blah. He peeks back, he jumps back in, but then he's able to hook a bullet, and it hits me, and it's a headshot. Yeah, that could be lag, but you know what? There shouldn't be that lag. If it's a connection-based matchmaking, there shouldn't be any lag. Um, and I mean, I think there was a time back in Destiny 1, and I think there was a small window in Destiny 2 early on where you would be weaseled or babooned or something. It's some error code that says that your connection is so shit we can't even keep you in the lobby. So, getting kicked out of the lobby for that, I'm okay with that, honestly. If because I mean, everybody, like I said, everybody gets a lag spike. Um, Everybody has to get called away from the game for whatever reasons. Technically, I am right now. I'm only doing light end activities because at any minute I may have to jump up and go take a shipping order. So that's the thing, and you just do what you need to do. So I don't report for bad connection. I don't report for uh, AFK. I don't report for people using an exploit. Um, I mean, unless of course it's like you're on a map and you're not supposed to be standing up there because you're not supposed to get up there, but then like there's somebody standing up there shooting at people. I'm like that. I'm going to report that shit, exploiting the map. I will report people for exploiting the map, but not for exploiting the game. That's on the developer's end. They need to tighten up the mechanics to make sure that doesn't happen. Um, Although I think it is in a way it would be kind of good to do that, to draw attention to that, but then you'd have to have some kind of video proof to show them exactly what it is you're reporting and why you think it should be fixed and stuff like that. And there's a process, and then that process actually is in place in a lot of games. Elder Scrolls has an actual form for it. Conan Exiles has a form for it. Even Minecraft has a little bug report forum that you can go ahead and report. Things like, hey, I figured out that you can do this by doing this, 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 and I don't know if that's going to break the game or not, but uh, it does seem to cause a lot of map lag and blah, blah, blah. Because in the end, that's what it comes down to. Video games are not a product, they're a service. They used to be a product way back in the early days when you bought a console and you bought a disc or a cartridge, and that's all you had to do. You got to play anytime, anywhere. There were no live updates, there was no co-op mode, there was split screen, that was it. So it was a product. But now video games are really wow, he just okay, did he okay, that's a new dude. Okay. I was like, wow, he's just going to kill him. He'd rather kill himself than let me take the headshot. Um, so yeah, and in a service mode, in a service like this, the big thing, the one thing that can hurt the game the most, apart from toxic customers, is bad connections. And believe it or not, they kind of go both. They kind of feed each other. The bad connection causes a person to think, well, if my connection is so shit, I'm just going to go ahead and use hacks and cheats to make sure I get everything I want out of the service. And then that, of course, makes the service even more difficult to play, and then it just kind of escalates. So, fixing that is something that's always been a discussion amongst content creators, influencers, and of course then jerks like me, who just basically get on and start rambling about shit. But like I said, I saw it's actually the second one this season alone that I've gotten, and I have to remind you, even though I do admit that I am the one reporting for cheaters, I am reporting griefers, Uh, I'm not the only one doing it because, I'm not an admin. I don't have admin influence or powers. So me going and reporting a player on my own is just an outlier event, according to for most for most admins. Um, the persons who got who were dealt with by Bungie are obviously. Oh, these guys are the hardest ones for me to shoot because I'm always used to aiming either middle or high. So aiming down at the kneecaps is just kind of like trying to get the precision kills. Oh wow, you just showed up right there, didn't you? Okay, let's see if I can get some grenade launcher kills. But anyway, so yeah, I wasn't the only one reporting them. Just remember that, okay? And like I said, why would I report someone for griefing? Well, it's basically, griefing in the sense that, like, say, for instance, I get pushed into the line of fire. And I know I'm being pushed into the line of fire because somebody's hanging out behind me trying to get the cleanup kill, and they're waiting for... He's taking no damage. There we go. Like, say, for instance, this dude here. Say this is a Guardian, okay? And I'm just laying in with the auto rifle. He's not going to give up the duel. And we're just facing each other back and forth. All of a sudden, my character's doing this, and I'm like, it's not where I'm moving. And I end up getting killed. I get pushed into the line of fire. That's griefing, in my opinion. You should be able to see me. I'm right the fuck in front of you, obviously. The radar's there all the time, except for when you're ADS. So, even if you're ADS, you could see a person in front of you. I mean, look at that. You could, if I was looking at the Guardian, I didn't see who was there. And I can show you that. So, yeah, if I get pushed in and out of line of fire once or twice in the match, and it's not the same person, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're all just fighting for the same fire lane. But you could tell. You could tell when someone's deliberately trying to fucking do your cleanups. And the thing is that can be fixed by just getting rid of the stupid final blow aspect of bounties. Take it back to team kill, because honestly, when it was team kill, I didn't notice as much griefing. I didn't see people pushing players back and forth or using stasis grenades to create a barrier between them and the moats so they can go ahead and scoop moats. I actually had... These are moats, okay? I created those moats. I blew up those guys. That's a Guardian. He throws an ice grenade, an ice barrier grenade, right there. What's going to happen? I'm going to have to jump up and over, but in the meantime, he's scooping the moats. Now, yeah, it's a team effort, but if you've got a bounty that says deposit 25 moats, that's a struggle you don't need. Okay, that's a struggle you don't need. So, if I see a player do that once, like maybe he was aiming for the people that I was shooting down, and maybe he was just a little slow on the throw, that's fine. But if it's the whole match, at the end of the match, that's when I report. I don't report during the match, okay? I will not report during the match unless I'm really, really pissed off, or just like, oh, this is blatant. I do wait till the end of the match, okay? And a lot of times, I will also record the match when I report, just because, and and then I only report when I'm absolutely sure. Like I said, when it's obvious that, you punched, shotgunned, and then sidearmed a guy, and he's only got a 2 toughness. He's got no special abilities, no mods that reduce damage, no anything else. He's not standing in a rift. He's not in his bubble or anything like that. Um, and he just basically, strafes out of the way and then pop, one shots you, PBR, point blank range, and it's a crit shot. I will report that. And yesterday there was a guy in survival who was doing that. We were playing the anomaly, and he was basically, I got him in the corner. I have him in a grenade. He is cooking in the grenade, and I'm punching him. I punched him twice. Most Guardians you could pop in 2 punches. This dude was not going down, and I was like, okay, first, before I do anything, I'm going to check his stats. And I did do that. I did leave the game for a couple seconds to check his player stats, and he had a 2.5 resilience. No special effects on his armor or his mods or anything like that. And I was like, sorry, buddy, I got to report you. And apparently I wasn't the only one that day, yesterday, who reported him. So I don't really know how long it takes for them to process this, but that was yesterday. There was another instance a couple of days ago where there was a guy who was basically getting headshot snipers the entire match, and around corners like that example I showed you back up there. Where I'm strafing this way. He's already peeked over here. I know he's going to peek over here, but as I get to right here, I get the headshot, and he's standing right there because because his character is outlined right there on the other side. That could be lag, but I'm thinking not when he's doing it the whole match. So I reported him too. What I'm saying is that, guys, if you don't want the cheaters in the game, if you don't want your service to be a shit experience, I paid for this game. I paid for the season. I pay for these activities. I pay for this entertainment. And it irritates me when there's an individual out there who thinks that they are entitled to do what they're doing, and no matter what the cost. you know, it just irritates me because it's a shared experience. All right. Bungie says shared world, first-person shooter, looter, of course. But yeah. So that's my rant. Sorry, 16 minutes worth of me blathering on about why I would report somebody, and then a final encouragement to, yeah, you see someone doing some bullshit, go ahead. Be a little forgiving if they're AFK. Be a little forgiving if they're inactive. Be a little forgiving if it looks like their internet connection is really shitty and they're kind of like bouncing around a little bit. But if they're teleporting, like from here to there, and it ain't a Warlock blink, where's that shot coming from? There we go. You might want to investigate that mobility or see that character's class out. And supposedly PlayStation 5 is and the new versions of Destiny, the updates that are becoming, are going to be able to allow us to get in and out of inventories much faster than we do right now, which is going to be making in-match reporting a lot easier to do. So you'll be able to, and like I said, that's the other thing too I want to really point out. Don't just report someone because 1 minute they're standing here, and then the next minute they're standing over here. If you didn't take any damage when they bounced like that, and they're not attacking anybody else, chances are either you or they are going through a lag spike. Do some investigation. Bring up the roster, bring up the character, the player, and take a look at the stats, take a look at the gear, get an idea of what they are doing, and then just be aware of it for the rest of the match. And chances are, if it's a one-time thing, they weren't cheating. But if it's chronic throughout the match, they either have a really severely bad connection, in which case, yeah, maybe you should report that, or more than likely, they are cheating. So they're using network lag and stuff like that to their advantage. And yeah, hopefully, like I said, if you're going to report, I totally encourage people to report. But be responsible about it. Don't just do it because you got your ass outplayed 15 times in a row by a single player. I myself will pick a target, and it's kind of a strategy that my friends and I have done since Destiny 1 when we play Iron Banner, especially. We will pick a matchup that we feel that we're strong against, and we will do what we can to just attack that person and help our teammates get the other person. So. Get their target too. So that's kind of what we used to do when we had a 6-man team going into Iron Banner all the time. And we even did that with Trials. Especially in Trials, you should do that. You should identify the person that you're best matched against, and make sure that you only hit that person, and your teammates, do their best to get their targets as well. And then, of course, help each other by herding them into a fire lane or something like that. Oh, I'm done with this map, aren't I? But that's about it, I think. I don't know, was it 20 minutes over here now? Yeah. Alright. Anyway, you've got some opinions, I'm sure. You've got some comments, I'm sure. Do I report, fanatically? No, not really, I don't. Not really, I don't. And believe it or not, I don't even really report in Control or the Valor ranks. I don't report in the Valor ranks because that's low impact, dude. You're doing that shit for fun and practice. I only actually report in Survival. I only actually report in Iron Banner. I don't play Trials anymore, simply because it's just too much of a crapshoot for weapons that I personally don't find are of a value to me, and that's just my take on that because just like I forget that I play a warlock, that I'm playing a warlock right now until I jump. Believe it or not, because you can see I don't throw my abilities around so much. I work with my guns. I try to make sure that it's gunplay that gun skills that I'm working on. And but yeah. Anyway, so I'm just drawing it out now. Go ahead and leave your comments, leave your opinions. It's totally fine with me. Like, dislike, it's okay. Like I said, I do these basically as journal entries, just to kind of dump my thoughts on a empty audience, and see if anybody stumbles across it, goes, yeah, I think that's kind of something I should be. Don't, in other words, don't be afraid to report, but don't get crazy with it. Don't go nuts, uh, and just report for any old thing that happens. You'll really learn what the game is capable of, what characters are capable of, and 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 just try to enjoy yourselves as much as possible, I guess. Anyway, Happy New Year. By the time somebody actually watches this, it is New Year's Eve today. But have a good one and stay safe out there.